At no time has the imperative and opportunity to rethink education had been more significant than today. With the global economic transitions, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and the COVID-19 pandemic dictating the forces of change, there is a need for serious contemplation on how we can navigate through this critical period to craft new strategies and shape education for the future. Dr. 𝗕𝙪𝙩𝗪𝙪 President of the Bicol University, Vice Presidents, other university officials, Dr. Lorna M. Minya, Dean of the College of Education, college officials, faculty and non-teaching personnel, ladies and gentlemen, the honorees and other parents, my warmest felicitations and congratulations to the awardees. I hope to share two perspectives on future-proofing the university for greater resiliency, the theme that you have chosen for today's event. The first lens looks at resilience within the ambit of the personal. The other takes on a more encompassing organizational outlook. Allow me to explain my thoughts using my occupational journey as context, given that I am celebrating my Pearl anniversary in the Bicol University. 30 years of service is indeed a career milestone. Thus, out of curiosity, people would ask me, what does it take to serve alma mater for more than half of my lifetime? Is it purely a matter of loyalty? Is the road to success so smoothly paved for me that there was never any reason to leave? Is my work journey unblemished by frustration, failure, and dissatisfaction? Is there a formula that I can share with all the honorees on this virtual platform so you could do the same thing as I did? Reflecting on the theme of today's recognition program, I realized that my journey to becoming a teacher and administrator gives evidence that it is not entirely a story of success. It is more a narrative of grit and resilience. Years ago, I joined BUCE as a college freshman. Unlike other exuberant and highly spirited peers, I was one crestfallen being, dejected, demotivated, and tentative because I felt deprived of a fundamental liberty, the right to self-determination, if I may borrow from the theory of psychologists 𝗕𝗓 and Ryan. It was my father who chose that I become a teacher. He also decided that I enroll in BUCE, his alma mater. While his passion was for me to become a teacher, in my heart, I wanted to become a lawyer. It was not the classroom, but the courtroom that I thought would be the best professional arena for me. Truth be told, I did not study my lessons during the first 2 years in college. I wanted to fail some of my courses intentionally so that my father would agree that I was not meant for teaching. This disconcerting feeling stayed for about 2 years until I met exceptional professors who gave me clarity of mind, sparked interest and motivation for diligent study, and processed some of my adolescent issues, including discernible flaws in my attitude, which to them prevented my personal growth. From the time I met them in the classroom, my desire to fail became a plan to succeed. My unconcern for teaching converted to a growing attention to positive prospects and promises. My benign opposition to the profession turned into an emergent recognition and acknowledgement of its nobility. My gratitude, therefore, goes to BUCE's highly respected and seasoned mentors who provided non-negotiable standards of excellence and a nurturing environment that contributed immensely to shaping my competence and character. They modeled Bicol University's institutional core values of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. They made me understand it was not too late to look at teaching from a more affirmative and progressive outlook. Fast forward, I still graduated with Latin honors, emerged as outstanding student in leadership, and cited as one of the 10 outstanding student teachers of the Philippines during my time. The immediate reward for doing well in college was offered, a position of guidance counselor and part-time faculty at the College of Agriculture and Forestry. A year after, BUCE generously offered me a permanent teaching item in the laboratory school, which I declined because I thought I had found my home at BUCAF. Little did I know that what I waived injudiciously was too costly on my part, as work tenure was elusive until after 4 years of being a part-time instructor. I learned from that experience that during my youth, I valued the transitory, using my feelings and not my rationality in deciding at the expense of pragmatism and stability. My ascent to the highest professorial rank now and designation to various administrative duties came with a host of challenges and difficulties, which brought about situations of conflict with colleagues and superiors. Circumstances and conditions at work are not always favorable, as expected in any public service. However, staying true to homegrown values enabled self to stay on course and transcend disagreements in the workplace. Ladies and gentlemen, the depth and breadth of my work experience in the university taught me countless lessons on individual resilience. My story encapsulates the first point that I would like to drive at, that if we are to future-proof educational institutions, we need to ensure that the concept of resilience is inherent in the quality and the character of the workforce. That the workforce grows from what personally debilitates and amplifies positivity and strength. That they do not lose sight of the need to participate and take on the lead as catalysts for transformation and critical reforms in policy and practices. During unpredictable times, our vision for education cannot remain static, fatalistic, or cynical, but bold, prospective, and development-oriented. The second view I wish to communicate, especially to dear colleagues from the College of Education, is how future-proofing in higher education could be undertaken at the organizational or institutional level. How do we make teacher education more agile, flexible, and inclusive? How do we promote a proactive culture such that learning and living intersect without one being dominated or diminished by the other? What measures could we pursue to rebuild the learning ecosystem so that past gains and decades of progress are not seriously undermined or wasted by the current turn of events? How can education be best configured in response to adversity? These questions, I believe, are begging for answers, which on my own circumspection I may not be able to fully answer. What I would propose then are broad, insightful reflections drawn from intelligent discourse among academics, researchers, administrators, and other stakeholders in recent conferences here and abroad. Hopefully, we could resonate with capstone ideas and integrate them in shaping our own recovery agenda within the new normal, now normal, or the next normal in mind. First, the need is urgent for us to re-examine the structure, characteristics, content, and modalities of education and training. We cannot tinker with just making minor adjustments to existing learning systems. Re-engineering education requires change. Second, forging effective relationships and linkages with multi-sectoral agencies is a fundamental imperative. Collaboration and consultation are requisites for resource generation and attracting investments. Third, building talent and upskilling of the highest order ultimately determines the quality of the human capital. As much as we invest in machines, digital technologies, and web-based resources to digitize learning delivery modes, so must we acknowledge the importance of human well-being. Teachers nor administrators cannot deliver from an empty emotional well. We cannot expect empathy, nurturing support, and other pro-social behaviors from an emotionally depleted workforce. A focus on teachers' well-being, then, is very critical in enabling the social and emotional literacies of our students. Fourth, if we are to take on the challenge of future-proofing our graduates towards successful careers, we need to look at our collective notions of how we educate, inspire, and transform. We examine more closely where innovation, resilience, excellence, ethicality, and integrity are entrenched in our own current teaching platforms. Finally, the pursuit of education reform pathways must not be the sole concern of university leaders. It must engender the participation of teachers. Their experience on the ground must inform and influence policy design to address existing implementation gaps, which are realities on the ground. Nihil de nobis, sine nobis. Nothing about us without us. Our problems in education today may look formidable, in addition to the ones thrust upon us by COVID-19, but we can consider them as opportunities for innovations to bloom. The birthing of new mechanisms for change may be painful, but failure and discomfort are essential to building resilient universities. The sooner we adapt, anticipate, mitigate risks, and seek solutions to current dilemmas, the more successful we might just be in our concerted effort to make successful developmental transitions in education. Recently, we celebrated our Charter Day as one university, one community, and as one family. May all be resilient enough to remain committed to Bicol University's ideals, keep its academic repute, and raise its status from where it is now to even greater heights. Again, my warmest congratulations to all the awardees and their parents. God bless us all, and a pleasant afternoon.